Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Uncomplicated podcast, a self-help podcast dedicated to fostering conversations that matter to the mental and personal well-being. I am Raihan, nutritionist and your host.
And I'm Haikal, your co-host and clinical psychologist. Today, we are diving into a topic that is vital for anyone interested in entrepreneurship, the resilient entrepreneurial mindset.
Yes, guys, that's right. And we are thrilled to have our first guest ever for the Uncomplicated podcast. And he is no other than Hassan Rahman.
Hey, hi. Hello, everyone. Hi, guys. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Thank you for coming. Thank you for gracing our podcast and also being the first.
Oh, yes, I'm honored and I'm still nervous.
First ever.
Hassan is the co-founder of Shimamatin Bridal, who has a podcast as well.
Yes.
Called the Rebuild Podcast, where he shares stories about people's walks of lives on their setbacks and downfall. And Hassan first started his entrepreneurship journey in 2013,
Yes.
selling sunglasses and watches, but later joined his wife, who started Shimamatin Bridal. And now the business has been successfully running for 8 years now.
Right. So in today's episode, we'll be discussing how resilience play a role in his journey, why it's crucial for entrepreneurs, and what are some practical ways for us to cultivate it. Right. So welcome Hassan once again, and maybe you can introduce yourself to us.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. So by the way, my name is Hassan Rahman. So as you guys mentioned just now, that I'm the co-founder of Shimamatin Bridal. So we've been the bridal have been around for 8 years. Yeah, and I'm also a podcaster. So it's called Rebuild Podcast. Yeah, so these are the two main business that I'm focusing on. I do have other businesses and upcoming businesses. So this is the main focus for these two entities that I have right now.
You want to talk more about your Rebuild Podcast? Because I know that in that podcast, you touch on people's stories and people's experience. Maybe you want to share more?
Yeah, so technically why I decided to came out about this podcast is basically it all comes back to myself. So I learned a lot from my past. Yeah, so I mean like I don't get inspired by other people, because I know everyone have their own ways of living, their struggles, right? So before I look at other people's life, I look at my own life, what I've went through, where did it went wrong, how could I have been better? So I study myself. And apparently when I start to dig deeper about myself, my journey throughout, that's where I figure out that actually life is beautiful when I knew that I could have turned another way, another journey. So that's where I thought maybe I voice this out in a platform, and I know there are people out there who are lost, who felt that they're going to fail for the rest of their life, which I failed before. Yeah, I struggled before. I went through downfalls a lot of time. So I feel that this podcast is a platform for me to share and hopefully to inspire a lot of people out there.
And I feel like the podcast itself is how he is as an entrepreneur, sharing information about his past journey and then how he actually managed his business, because it's all entails into it.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Can you share me, as you are introducing yourself, talking about like you having this business as well as you yourself now having some ideas in mind as well, right? That already reflects the entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah.
Can you share, how does this entrepreneurial mindset help in the approach to building your business?
Okay, so I think it's a very good question. Is where at the end of the day, all of us we know our potential. But in order for us to know what potential we have, is we have to start doing. Yes, I mean like some people, they didn't know that actually I'm quite smart in this. Actually, I'm quite a hands-on person. Actually, I'm good at fixing things. They thought that is what they can do until they started doing it. Actually, they can do better. Yeah, so it's to start doing it, and then I realized, I'm actually quite good at sales. Where I underestimate myself. So technically running the bridal, I'm more into sales and operation. Yeah, so with that, then I was thinking like, and how it elevates to get better is when I know that business is always having problems. So that's where I learned to have this problem solving skills.
Which is part of the entrepreneur mindset.
Right. Maybe you can give examples of that.
Okay, so for example, when it comes to emotions.
Okay.
So example, you're running a business, you're a service provider. You tend to have good feedbacks and bad feedbacks as well. How you respond to it. Are you gonna follow your emotions, or are you gonna quarrel and fight back with the client, or stay calm and then fix the problem? So that's where I realized that at the end of the day, it's all about how you are able to calm yourself and make decisions.
Right. Okay, what exactly is having an entrepreneurial mindset? Because you have shared with us what exactly you went through, but what exactly entails in an entrepreneurial mindset?
Okay. So basically, entrepreneur mindset, it all depends. I believe in these two things. There's an entrepreneur and intrapreneur.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. So entrepreneur is not everyone can be an entrepreneur.
okay.
Yeah. If everyone will be an entrepreneur, we won't have staff in the company.
Okay, that's
right?
true.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah. So to have this entrepreneur mindset is to understand the values that you are going to provide for your company. So you know that you have this skill set. You know that there's a gap where you have to fill according to your strength that you have. So this is where it all comes down to whether are you able to provide the service or win the customers or clients' heart. Yeah. So it's all about making people happy and also solving people's I would say it's a problem. Like example, like me running a bridal company. Like there are people who wants to wear a bridal for their weddings, right? So that's where we come in to provide these services.
Yeah.
We are adding values to the services that we are providing. Yeah. So being an entrepreneur, I think it's always for me personally, I always focus on the values first rather than how much profit are we going to get by doing this kind of service. I'm more on focusing on the values that I'm going to give to my clients or my customers.
The outcome for the customers and the clients rather than the value that is going to bring to you in terms of pocket money and all that.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, because there may be people who, like I said, I like the idea of what you mentioned about the entrepreneur and intrapreneur.
Yep.
And there might be people who have like big dreams, right?
Yes.
But you having big dreams and being a good entrepreneur, maybe what would differentiate between a good entrepreneur and a maybe not so good entrepreneur?
Okay, so this is a very good question.
Yeah.
Okay, I get this question a lot, right? Like I was saying just now, not everybody can be an entrepreneur, right? It all comes to before you want to start something, you have to do it first. That's where you know your potential. So, for instance, you are not just born to be an entrepreneur. All of us, before we became an entrepreneur, before we own a business, we work for someone, right? That's where we start to learn. So if you know that you are doing a good job in that company, it's a high possibility that you can do well in your business too. If you don't perform, if you're underperforming in your company, unlikely you can perform when you're having your own business. Yeah. So I think that is where it all comes back to, because I know when I used to work in my previous company, I excel quite well. Yeah. So that's where the mindset is. That's why people always say that nowadays, like, I don't want to work for people anymore. I don't want to work with people anymore. I want to work on my own.
Yeah.
Yes, you can have that mindset provided you are ready and you know that you can perform in the company that you're working for. Then you're ready to have your own company. Yeah. So the intrapreneur is something that some people they have the skills but they don't have the idea yet.
So you have to be a good intrapreneur first, then you can be an entrepreneur.
It can be both, vice versa.
Okay.
So for instance, let's say put it in being in the government sector. Maybe you're in army, right? If you perform well, your rank will be higher, right? So technically it's the same. Yeah. So you know that, and you know that this is what you're good at. So for example, you start as sergeant and then you become staff sergeant. So like entrepreneur mindset also is like that. Yeah, where there's hierarchy of like, I started as supervisor, then I work, when I commit and do well, that's why I get promoted. Yeah, so focusing on that, technically you will still get to achieve the dream. Like, but some people, they just know that it's all about the money. Oh, I want to reach the salary of $10,000. Is that what they want? That's their goal? Then go for it. Yeah, so it all depends on understanding and balancing, the options. Whereas as an entrepreneur, a lot of people say, oh, I want to be my own boss, so that I don't have to work every day 8 to 5, which actually the mindset is wrong. You are working 24/7.
Yes.
Your mind is working 24/7.
I'm surrounded by two entrepreneurs, guys, right, left and right.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so this entrepreneurial mindset that you have, has it always been in you, or is it something that is developed over time?
It was developed over time, to be honest, because To be honest, I've never thought of myself running businesses.
Really?
Yes, because okay,
Oh.
for me myself, right, I'll be open that I don't have a very high education. Okay, I don't have high education. I started to talk better a bit is by reading. Yeah, I read. So I don't have high qualifications. So this entrepreneur, I mean, I didn't plan that I wanted to have a business. It's technically more of like ideas that came that I thought that I can monetize, can make extra money. But it all comes back to the purpose. What's the purpose of me to own a business? Why am I doing this? If I know that example, okay, I want to do this because it gives me extra income. Or this could contribute at least about 500 to 1,000 with this amount, with this time that I have. Why not try to do it? It's all about trying and try. And then I always give myself a timeline. So for instance, example for the podcast, right? The recent one. So I give myself a timeline. I'm not confident with myself, to be honest. I'm not confident, whether this podcast, is it will get a good response from listeners, right? So I gave myself timeline like, okay, why not we try this for 6 months? See how it goes from there. So at least I know when the 6 months that, let's say, it didn't reach to where what I expected, right? I don't feel so hurt. Yeah. So I give myself timeline. Yeah.
Yeah, because being an entrepreneur, one of the challenge, right, is uncertainties.
Yes.
And like you said, we plan for things, but things will come in your way, which you don't realize.
Yep.
And for yourself, right, how important is resilience as an entrepreneur?
I mean, it all comes back to also, right, the responsibilities that you have. Yeah, it also comes to the responsibility. Even when we are running a business, we are also serving the clients, right? I cannot just think about myself. Like, so stressful. Wait lah. Wow, so many problems. Give up lah. So I'm being resilient is because I know that there are people out there who are rooting for us. There are people out there that believe in us. So I state resilience is because I cannot just focus on even if for myself, there's I don't I mean like among 100%, I know that there's 10% of potential listeners or clients, right? I know there's still hope.
Wow.
So I focus on that 10% to grow.
Wow.
So that's how I stay resilient. Unless I'm saying that, okay, if I run a business for 6 months, I don't even get one customer, something wrong already lah. Now I think it's time to call it to a stop. Because I know that there are people out there, there's a market out there. There are people out there who is going to engage you. The number may be small, but that is normal because that's only for a start. So that's how I focus on. I know there's a number. I know there will be listeners there. I know there are people out there who's going to engage my bridal. So that's where I focus on the small number. Yeah.
I would say this is not a setback, but it's more of on opportunity.
Yep.
Let's say, for example, the numbers are small, but that means there could be a possibility of it to grow over time.
Yes.
Right? So then you take it as, okay, as long as there's numbers, it's good lah.
Yep.
So then after that, you will continue to improve yourself over time.
Yes, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's something that I've learned. Because, okay, for example, I myself, okay, I wouldn't consider myself an entrepreneur because I'm not really an entrepreneur. But for someone who would love to have something on my own, whenever I meet with a setback, then I'm like, the numbers are small. The numbers of likes, the number of followers, and then the number of feedback is very low. So you have this feeling of like, should I give up?
Yeah.
Like, should I just stop? Or but now that you say this, now I should look at it as, at least there's some things moving.
Yeah.
And then just focus on that.
Yep.
To grow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Could you share a feedback or a setback that you had that almost stopped you from moving forward?
Oh yeah, I think this is very common with all business owners lah. It's very normal lah. It's very normal to. I think it comes a day when you are feeling very, very overwhelmed. You are feeling very overwhelmed when especially it involves personal problems with business. Yeah, and especially when it all comes at one shot. Like example, for instance, you have family issues, you quarrel with your wife, and then on that day you have clients complaints. And then like you have everything all comes at once, and I think those are some of the times where, of course, I feel like giving up lah. Like, but I know that that's where I start to see is this a regular occurrence or not? Or is it just once in a while? Yeah. So if it's just once in a while, means it's normal. If it's an everyday thing, then I have to do something. To fix it. Yeah.
So you evaluate the situation.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you see whether it's something that is happening every day.
Yep.
If it's happening every day, then something is wrong.
Yes.
If it's not, then maybe it's just a one-off that I can just, is it brush it off?
It's just one of those bad days, like they say.
Just one of those
They
bad
say that there are days that we have a bad hair day, right? So it's same in business also.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, correct. In business, it's like that. There will
Yeah.
be days where you just feel like, why am I doing this?
Right.
So yeah, but I think it goes back to like we say, what's that value that you want to bring,
Yep.
as well as what's the reason that brought you into this business that you're starting?
The purpose, we focus on the purpose. Why are we doing this?
Correct.
Why are we continuing doing this? Should we continue or should we stop? It's as long as there's a purpose there, there's a reason there, like you said, keep doing it.
Well, was it the same reason for you, Haikal, when you first started off? Because yours would be in the clinical therapy aspect.
Right.
How was it for you?
So when I started, well, I would say I was kind of forced into it by circumstances.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
And I by then because of that certain circumstances, like, hey, I have all these ideas. I was like what you were saying, right, Hassan, just now, that I was really doing well in what I did.
Yeah.
But I felt that sense of purpose was a bit different from what I actually want. I'm a clinician at heart. I want to serve clients, but when you are working in the public sector, you have to do other extra stuff. So I want to focus on that. So I was really focused on seeing clients, and that would be my purpose.
Yes.
And so there would be challenges as an entrepreneur, but I think I would be happier trying to chart my path, seeing clients, taking away some stability, but I am good with that.
Right.
And thankfully over time, you like you said, you have some uncertainty, but after a while you kind of figure out like, okay, this is the right path for my business. This is what you don't really know what it is, but over time you just figure it out along the way.
Because the good thing for you is you have a dream. Yeah, you know what you want and you go for it. Yeah, some people where I even including myself, sometimes I don't know what to do in my life. I don't know what.
Is it normal? It's normal, right?
It's
to not
very normal.
know what to do in your life.
That's why you have to start doing it. You have to learn. So technically, me as a guy, I'm a guy. Bridal is for ladies. It's all on the lady stuff, right? The designing, the makeup. I'm a guy, and I've never thought myself to be running a bridal company. I mean, lucky for me, that's where my wife was there. But my wife is more on the creative side. But on the business side, that's where I know what my skills are. We combine with the talent that she have, the creativity that she have, together with my operations. My sales. The sales character is it developed over time. Yeah, so that's how we combine together to form the company and escalate it to be better. Knowing the strength lah.
I like what you said, because when I first started my clinic, right, I was quite confident in my skills. I thought that I'm a pretty good psychologist. But I was wondering, like, how come I don't have clients? And that's when I meet with people and they say, oh, Haikal, the thing here, right, is, well, you can be a good psychologist, but if no one knows about your practice, if you're not talking to people, no one's going to come. Right? So you have to also figure out the business side of things. He says that, no, when you start, you have to be a businessman first, then a psychologist. But the problem now is you're a psychologist first and you're expecting people will come. And you're like, oh, that's when I tell you I had to start reading business books and doing all these other things so that I can have I learn how to market and so on. Because that if you want to be an entrepreneur, I think that side of the softer side of skills also plays a part as well.
I like when you both touch on this, because both of you have similar journey in terms of building up something from scratch, and then also trying to eventually realize that, hey, you know what, I have these sales skills, I have these psychology skills, but I just need to put in another layer to it, which is the business skills for yourself, and the marketing skills, and yours is the creativity, which is from your wife. So in this case, is if I could just point one thing, it would be to work towards finding balance in what are your skills, what are your weaknesses, and try to find something that can complement. Like maybe top up the knowledge or whatsoever. And then the other thing is also to be aware. very well aware of
Yeah.
where you are standing right now.
Yes. So it's important. I look at this as like a puzzle. How do I want to have I would say build a perfect picture, right? Is to understand every single pieces. So if there's a missing pieces here, like if there's a missing piece here, I have to understand, okay, what part of it is missing? Is it the marketing? Is it the sales? Is it the content creation part? So it's all about you standing on top and overseeing everything on the ground. Like, what is it missing here? What is it wrong here?
Right.
Why is this is good? The marketing is good, but I still don't have clients. Why do I have a lot of bad feedbacks? If the feedback is good, how is my inquiry? I will study all this, and I cannot get too complacent. Never get too complacent. Business is not comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh,
A
It's
lot of
not
juggling.
comfortable.
that's a very good phrase.
You can get comfortable for a short time, but if you're getting too comfortable for a very long time, means it's dangerous. Yes, that's dangerous. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Another new thing that I've learned today. Now, what are some of the strategies that you can share in terms of building that resilience and that confidence in yourself to run a business? Because I think for anyone who wants to start a business, the idea of starting a business is there, and maybe they have started a business, but to sustain and be resilient over a long time, facing challenges like the both of you, are something that maybe young entrepreneurs will not expect. Or whenever, like, for myself, like, why my numbers are very low? Then after that, I just start to feel like, man, that kind of feeling.
Correct.
What are some of the strategies that you can suggest?
Okay, I like to have I like to have this kind of philosophy where, like just now I mentioned to you about puzzle. I also put business so like a vehicle, like a car. Okay, like you cannot be pressing on to the accelerator too fast. It will consume a lot of petrol. So I always understand. I always focus on being balanced. Like example, right now, if I push too much on marketing, can I handle the inquiries? Yeah. So example, like for myself running a bridal company, I can take as much clients as I want. New sign up. But can I cater? Can I deliver? So the strategy that I have is to ensure that everything is all in place. So I would rather get the supply first, and I push for the demand. Yeah, some people. It all depends on individual preference lah. Some people is we just get clients first. Later we find a makeup artist.
Yeah.
For my kind of person, I'm very strategic on that.
Okay.
Yeah. So in order for me, if I'm confident, I know that I have a demand there. I need to ensure that I have supplies as well. So it's building on the internal first, because clients, customers is out there. We can search for it, but to build internally, that is the most important part. That's why I come back to the car. If I look after the engine, I look after the gearbox, the oil and everything, it will run smoothly. So the strategy is to fix internally on the company first before you focus on finding clients, customers.
Wow.
Yeah. So how you look after your staff, how you ensure that the service is there. You don't have to worry.
Yeah.
So that's why people will still come, because your focus is in the car itself. Ensure that everything is smooth, the tires are smooth, and then we can get the business going.
Right.
Yeah. So a lot of clients, like their main focus, how are we going to get customers? This is not the focus there. The focus here is the company first, the product, the service. You sharpen that first. You focus on that first. The customer and clients will come to you.
Yep.
You don't have to worry. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's my strategy lah. In a way, my focus is being internal. Looking after my staff. For example, like I do have a lot of good stuff. I do have a good. Currently, I do have a very good team with my brother. But it took me at least 6 years to get this team right now. In the past, it was so hard for me to get someone, especially when the person is good. She has a good skill set, but she doesn't work with us for a very long time.
Right.
That's my challenges. Staff have to leave. They have to stay. So when they leave, the service won't be consistent.
Correct.
Because I met with your other staff, she's good, but now I met with this staff, she's not good. So that's my focus.
Yeah.
To ensure that everything is okay. All the policies are met. Make sure my clients, my staff, respond to my clients accordingly. Attend to them. So my focus is about the company itself, the internal, having good relationship with my team, with the partners. I think that is what is very important. And the customers will come. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Likewise to you, Haikal?
I agree with what you said, because for us, we can have like marketing and all that, but I think the thing about us as a psychologist, right? We won't have like, hey, Haikal, Raihan, we have a good session today, right? Let's take a photo and then that post and we can't do any social media kind of stuff, right? And for us, the word of mouth is really important. For me, what I realized, the word of mouth is very important.
Yep.
So when you have good stuff, then you can, I guess sleep better.
Yes.
And you know that, hey, I can trust people to actually do things even if I'm not around, right? That's why I can be here today, because my stuff is
exactly
there.
Yeah.
If not, I have to be down there.
Yeah.
So I think taking care of it is one. And if you're gonna use the analogy of a car, I think to develop that resilience, what I also do is also to remind myself, right? From when I started till now, there has been progress. The car has moved.
Yes, correct.
The first maybe first few months, right? At the start, 0 clients.
Yeah.
Then after that, you have like this amount of clients. Then now of course, you can see as like, hey, but other people are, hey, they have like 2-3 branches. Hey, these people have more. Like, how come you're still there? I think you are not competing with other people. You have already made that progress.
Yes, correct.
And that is enough, because sometimes for entrepreneurs, what can make them a bit more, they feel a bit loose of hope, right? Is they forgot where they started.
Yes.
And they say that I can just even do more. But sometimes when I see clients, I say like, no, if you know that you are going to be, when you started your business or your job, and you know that you're in this position right now, would you be happy? They say, of course, I'll be happy. When I started my business, I wanted to have this, but I just still feel like not good enough.
Yeah. I think that's what you said is very exactly what happened to me also. Like, for example, like I always thought that it's okay. I think 1 month I can get 10 clients. I'm happy. Reach target already. That's where it was. I changed my mindset. Yeah. So for me, right, in business, nothing is enough. It's all about scaling up. Yeah. So in the beginning part of it, I was telling myself maybe 20 clients is enough lah. And then that's when I realized, when I get the 20 clients, I start to relax.
That's the complacency.
The complacency there, and then I start to get comfortable. And then once it didn't get 20, then my kanchongness is like very bad. Hey, you never get 20, you never get 20. So my focus now is I just try my best to get how many clients I can. I just do it. I just push myself. So example, like my target is 10 per month clients, example. Once it gets about 7 to 8, I will start to feel relaxed. Like easy, another 2 more clients, those kind of things. Then when I get the 10 clients, I start to get more relaxed. And then I don't bother to but if I have that kind of attitude, along the way, it will start to get more complacent, it will start to get more comfortable. So it's for me, I don't like to have that kind of, that's why I switch my mindset. Like whatever it is, I want to do more. I know, because at the end of the day, we all know we have potentials. We know that we built this company. We know that's full of potential. So there's no such thing. Okay, I need to put a target. If it's more than 10, it's more than 20, it's fine. But we just keep pushing and doing it. Yeah, just keep doing it. Yeah, I don't set my target. So I don't always tell myself, I think 10 can already lah. 10 can already lah. Sometimes you have to be aggressive. Yeah, we have to be a bit aggressive in business lah. Yeah.
Right. So before we close off, let's recap 3 main takeaways on how we can build our entrepreneurial mindset or our resilience. Maybe
I can go first. Yeah. I think it starts off is one thing that I really learned is that, no one is really born with that entrepreneurial mindset. You have to start somewhere. So if you want to, right, then you can develop it.
Yep.
The other one would be that, there would be challenges. And this is one thing that I want to highlight. A lot of people would think that, as entrepreneurs, we just collect money. No, right? You have to have that tenacity to not give up when that happens. And last one is that as entrepreneurs, you are juggling a lot of balls.
Yep.
With your clients, your staff, and so on. So it will take some time for you to figure out how to go about doing it.
Yep.
But with time, with patience, with resilience, you will be able to get there.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, for me, number 1 is always to look at an eagle's eyes view of things. If things doesn't go well, you might want to see what could be the issue and how you can improve on the issue. And then I think one of the things that you mentioned about the analogy of the car is to have your internal fix first.
Yep.
Number 2 is business is uncomfortable. Once you get comfortable, you might get complacent.
Yep.
So you have to remember that. And number 3 is to know that you have that skill, brush up on the skill, but also find ways on how you can maybe top up the skill sets that you don't have, so that you can continue to grow and improve. And I think number 4, I just want to share number 4, is that don't expect clients to come to you immediately. It's more of you building yourself first, and then eventually the client will come over time.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. Yourself, Hassan.
Okay. For myself, I think mostly all takeaways is from my side lah. Okay, so I think for me, most important, the key takeaways, which I always focus till today, is about the values. Yeah, it's about the values. And I think for beginners, those who are, number 1 is the values, focus on the values that you are providing to your clients or your customers, right? Number 2 is also to give yourself timeline. Yeah, so it's not just about you jumping straight away into entrepreneurship, throwing away your full time and then straight away jump into entrepreneurship. This is very, very dangerous. So you have to give yourself a timeline. So planning is important. But when people ask, how do I plan? The part of the planning is also the timeline that you're giving yourself. So 6 months. Yeah. And then for me, number 3 is, to understand that business is not comfortable. Yeah, business is not comfortable, but you must always, get the engine running. You have to get the engine running, but at the same point of time, you must look after the engine as well. Yeah, you need to ensure that, there's time that you can be very aggressive, but there's time also that you need to balance your mental health as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So thank you, Hassan,
You're welcome.
for being with us today. We've learned a lot. I've learned a lot personally from 2 entrepreneurs right beside me. So
I learned from him too.
I learned from each other.
yeah, exactly.
Right. So thank you for tuning in, everyone. We hope we found something that is valuable and insightful in today's conversation. And we'll be back next week with more insights on self-care and growth.
And with that, let's us work towards
Uncomplicating the complicated.
Bye.